Well, welcome to the webinar, which is part of the meeting of the Work-Based Learning and Apprenticeship Group, or the PEN 2 group for Hampshire. I met with Dan Stannard, I'm Tim Strickland, I met with Dan Stannard on the 14th of June, and the webinar now picks up the points of the discussion we had and forms them into the agenda of a virtual meeting. So the first thing we discussed was the shift to standards, and Thomas Stoner of City and Guilds, the area rep for City and Guilds, came along and told us where they are with this. The inclusion of qualifications within some apprenticeships was noted, as was the mapping of the pre-existing City and Guilds qualifications to some of the standards, albeit that the standards didn't have a qualification awarded against them. An example of that is the customer service practice. There is a list which is available via the FE Sussex website and is also on as part of the minutes. So the next thing which vexed us was the question of assessment for various qualifications, and also we were talking about the use of digital badging in a diverse range of awards such as Commis Chef 2 and ILM at level 5. So that was quite an interesting discussion, and I thank Thomas for that. We also moved on then to, and I'll just pop it up on the screen now, to looking at some extracts from Ofsted reports. So these are reports which have been published between about January and May 2017. The I've sectioned out from those reports statements and text which is relevant to work-based learning and apprenticeships, and the idea was that you can have a look at this and judge for yourself, make a bit of self-assessment really about where you are with this in terms of your own workplace. And as always with Ofsted comments, they're really very useful to benchmark yourself against. And so the opening one here, most apprentices make excellent progress from their starting points, is important in itself. The starting point is not the same for everybody, so they're being brought on as individuals. It helps them secure skills, develop skills and secure promotion, etc. The second comment is one which provides the other side of the coin, if you like, that too few apprenticeships directly trained by the college are retained or achieve their apprenticeship within a time frame, although the subcontractors seem to do better. And if I move down the sheet, the next comment is related to the support apprentices receive, it being a good high level of support and additional support available for those who need it with high level needs. The involvement of employers in training, of course, is very much flavour of the moment with the shift to standards. And this comment, the penultimate comment on this page, does actually address that. So assessors and training coordinators work closely with employers to plan high quality learning opportunities. College staff work well with employers during the recruitment of apprentices, etc., etc. So showing a very close liaison with employers and with work-based learning staff. And the final comment on this page is linking together the college's directly delivered provision and that of subcontractors as well. Now this is an interesting one because it's saying that the managers in the college don't ensure that off-the-job training is sufficiently linked to the apprenticeship's job, and some employers don't feel the training meets their work needs. So this went on for another page as well, as you can see, and I won't run through it all now, but there's some interesting comments here. This one, leaders and managers have been highly effective at closing gaps in achievement. All apprentices across all subject areas are making better than expected progress. And finally, leaders and managers work closely with employers, again there's that employer link, to ensure the apprenticeships meet local business needs. Apprentices benefit from working for high quality employers who help to advance their careers, etc., etc. but it gives you a good flavour of what was going on. We just go back onto our minutes. So that was item 4, a look at recent Ofsted reports. There is floating around a Pearson guide for employers to GCSE changes. So if you're dealing with employers who are mystified about the 9 to 1 shift from A to G, this guide is actually very handy. It's very succinct, and it's good to distribute it as you're visiting employers. So it is something which we would recommend. It's appended to the minutes, but it's actually available on the Pearson website. There's quite a lot of resources on Pearson website which are freely available. And then we moved on to a couple of points really, or 3 points here. One was the apprenticeships in taxi driving, which I'm not sure whether they're valid yet, but certainly is work towards. A good discussion about where do you find the best turnaround in terms of functional skills, what's the easiest window to enter students for, how quickly do you receive support from the awarding body, and so on. And then there was also a request made by one of the group to share some practice about contracts between employers and training providers. So that made up the meeting nicely. I closed the meeting by saying, well, what are we going to do for next year? Because the attendance at these meetings has indicated an alternative approach should be considered, and we'll move that over to a more interactive webinar approach for next year, I suspect. So that summarises the discussions which were had on the 14th of June for Work-Based Learning and Apprenticeships Professional Exchange Network, PEN2 network for Hampshire.